What's up everybody? Welcome to RetroGameCrunch. We've got a little bit of a different episode today. So I just walked into my local pawn shop and walked out with this. A giant mystery bag with 21 PS2 and PS3 games. That's right, 21 games for one price. Was it a gold mine or just shovelware? We'll find out together. But along the way, I'm also going to give you 4 tips for hunting for video games at pawn shops, so you can score some deals like me. So tip number 1, always bring cash and don't be afraid to negotiate. Pawn shops expect it. Think of it like real life DLC, except instead of spending more money, you're saving some money. A lot of times just ask, what's the best you can do on this? Just don't be that guy who tries to undercut by too much. Be reasonable and respectful. The more you spend, the more they might be willing to drop the price. Tip number 2, check the prices. Not everything in a pawn shop is a deal. Sometimes they price games like they're made of gold-plated discs. There are times where more popular games are way overpriced or compared to price charting are of equal value, but depending on the shop, they may not have quite the quality control that you're used to at your local game shop. Always look up the value online before you buy. Otherwise, you're basically paying collector's edition prices for bargain bin games. Tip 3, check the condition on everything. Open the case, look at the disc. Is it clean? Is the manual there? Or is it scratched so bad it looks like it survived a lightsaber duel? Remember, just because it's cheap doesn't mean it's worth it. If it won't load past the load screen, it doesn't matter. And finally, the most important tip, build relationships. If the workers know you're a regular and that you're cool, they might give you a heads up on new stuff when it comes in, or be more likely to give you a decent deal. It's like unlocking the secret NPC shop that only opens once you gain their trust. That's how you find the real treasures. Not luck, but connections. Pawn shops can be hit or miss, but if you bring cash, know your prices, check condition, and build relationships, you'll level up your game hunting skills in no time. So with those tips in mind, let's dig into this mystery bag of 21 PS2 and PS3 games and see if I struck retro gold or just accidentally bought someone's old Madden collection starter pack. Alright, so it is a bag and it's stapled shut with a little bit of tape. So let's jump in and see and have a look. Alright, we've got quite a few PS2 and PS3 games inside. And that first game is going to be Cabela's Trophy Bucks. Let's stick with the PS2s for now, and that next game is going to be MLB The Show 07. So let's take a look and see what the next one, and that's going to be NCAA Football 08. So I have a feeling we're probably going to get duped with a lot of football sports titles, but that's okay, maybe there'll be a hidden gem inside. That next game is going to be NCAA Football 2005. The next one is going to be NBA Live 06. The next one is going to be SOCOM US Navy SEALs. And that one does feel like it's probably got its book and manual and everything inside. Let's open it up. Yeah, we've got everything. Alright, now we're getting into Ghost Recon, the original game by Tom Clancy. The next PS2 game is going to be Suzuki Superbikes. And that next game is going to be Dance Dance Revolution Supernova. Alright, so I think that's probably all of our PS2 games. Now I've got a stack of PS3s to go through. Let's check out and see what some of those PS3 games might look like. First one's going to be Start the Party. The next game is going to be the Disney Infinity. The next one is going to be Rocksmith, and that's going to be the Best Buy exclusive. The next game is going to be Beyond Two Souls. Then we've got Lego Dimensions. We've got MLB The Show 13. We've got NBA 2K13. We've got NBA 2K12. We've got MLB The Show. We've got NBA 2K11. Next up, we've got Call of Duty Ghost. And that last game is actually going to be Little Big Planet. So that's everything in this mystery bag. I'm going to total these up and see what kind of value we actually got versus what I spent. So give me a minute and I'll be right back with you guys. Alright, I'm back, and I went through price charting to look up the individual value of each of these games to see what kind of value this collection had. In the end, I ended up with 21 games. The value of the PlayStation 3 set was valued at around $90. The value on the PlayStation 2 set was valued at around $58. So all in, I ended up with $148 worth of value from price charting. Now I know, there's a whole lot of shovelware in here and a whole lot of sports titles. And sports titles versus price charting can be a little bit tricky at times, especially if you're doing it for collecting. Because generally you only want to spend $2 to $3 in that price range for sports titles, because if you ever decide to get rid of your collection or get rid of those sports titles, you're more than likely not going to get very much for them, 50 cents to $1 in fact. So overall, the value through price charting may be a little bit skewed since there is a lot of sports titles. And when I was looking up a lot of sports titles on price charting, they were valued between $4 to $6 in general for this group a piece. So that's kind of consistent, but not quite, because it's about 50% of the value that you would probably get on an everyday basis if you take these in to trade them. So overall, I'm pretty happy with this collection and this purchase, because again, I only spent $39.99 on this bundle, and there's supposedly about $148 in value. I got some great games to add to my collection, and this is another great way to pick up a bulk set of games to add to your collection, especially if you're starting out in the PlayStation 2 or PlayStation 3 category. So check your local pawn shops and check to see what they might have, because if they don't sell bundles or bags like this particular location does, you can at least find some decent games, especially some sports titles and base everyday games that you see everywhere out there for anywhere from $4 to $6. And so that's kind of where I target to be when I'm purchasing games from pawn shops, is to be on that lower end, because I know that there's got to be some value built in there. So in general, I'm happy with this purchase. Let me know in the comments what your thoughts are, and if you've recently picked up anything from your local pawn shop and kind of been shocked or surprised by it. Until next time, happy gaming!